Hi team, it's Jeff. I hope you're having a great week. I certainly have. I've been in Ottawa and Montreal shooting greatest auto sale videos, and now I'm in Toronto getting ready for some more video shoots tomorrow. But I want to share a thought with you tonight that will certainly help you sell more cars at your private sale. Now you see, this thought comes from a conversation I had last Friday with Neil Wilson. Neil's one of our newer trainers who's working in the UK, doing a great job at private sales there. We were talking about a sale he had just run over in Ireland, and how he was surprised at the number of people that were driving 2013s that came into trade that they did deals with at the private sale. And you know, one of the great successes of our event and what we've accomplished, especially with Chrysler dealers the last 2-3 years, is we've proven to dealers that the customer they were looking for is actually right in front of them. I mean, think about it. The greatest minds in the car business had convinced some of the largest OEMs in the country that the best prospect was a positive equity customer, and had convinced those OEMs to spend tens of millions to develop equity tools. And what do we show through our private sales and thousands of cars sold every week? That it was your negative equity customer that was your best prospect. Hey, Polk Canada, who has all the research and all the statistics, was telling dealers, your best prospect's someone driving a 5-year-old car. And we said, no, it's not. It's someone driving a 30-month-old car, and then we proved it by making car deals over and over and over. So the customer you're looking for, Mr. Dealer, they're right in front of you. And by taking advantage of those incremental business and seeing everybody as a car deal, you're going to sell more cars. Look what we do at private sales. You know, in talking to Neil specifically about 2013s, you know, he made an interesting comment. He said he finds that 80% of people that buy a new car within 2 weeks of driving it home know exactly what they'd want different on their next car. So when he calls someone who's driving a 2013 who says, I just bought my car 12, 18, 24, 32 months ago, he says, let's just pretend it was time for you to trade cars. What would you want different? And then asks about what lifestyle changes have happened since they bought their car. He says, then I help them solve a problem they already know that they have. You know, what's really interesting is when you ask people what they would want different in their next car, or what features you wish they had gotten on their car that they just bought 12, 18, 24, 32 months ago, it's almost always more equipment. So when you do bring them in, they're already expecting a bump in payment. And when you're able to share the private sales story and some extra support from the OEM, guess what? All of a sudden, we're able to make car deals happen. And aren't we seeing that today? The number of people that have just been in their car 18, 24, 32 months. They're your best prospects. Think about it from the dealership perspective. These customers, they just bought their car a couple years ago, so chances are 60% their salesman still works at the dealership. They know where the dealership is. They've been in for service several times. Isn't that the customer you'd really rather be reaching out to? Rather than someone who hasn't been in 3 years, or their car's 4 or 5 years old, and they've already had to sink money into it, and maybe they're a little negative about the car already because of some repair costs? Indeed, that customer perhaps is your very best prospect. You know, another comment I had from Neil when we were talking about customers, we talked about those customers that were driving 2013s that were trading, but then also he talked about customers that were driving older cars. He said because of the credit crisis, people maybe didn't buy their last car the way they used to buy cars. So he's not asking only about their current car, he's asking how they used to buy vehicles. Now I think about here in North America where 8 years ago, 10 years ago, everybody was in a 2 or 3 year lease. And now those leasing options are largely gone, and so people are financing and they're not expecting to trade as often. But what if you could trade your vehicle every 2 to 3 years, Mr. Customer, every 18 to 24 months? Wouldn't that be a better way to own a vehicle? And you talk about the cost of driving information that we gave you as trainers at the last T3, and talking about the cost of driving, not just their monthly payment, because we can lower their cost of driving even if their payment goes up a little bit. So there's some thoughts for you as you're making calls at private sales and discovering those car deals and helping dealers sell cars. The customer that they want to sell is actually right in front of them. Happy selling. Excited to hear some success stories of you over the next week of selling customers driving 2013s. Send them in to Carrie and I, and let's keep living the dream.